Hi, my name is Mark Jager, and this is my Bulldog story. I started out at Ferris State University in the Practical Applied Social Work program. I've got to where I was about a semester from having my bachelor's degree, and I was riding home one day with a friend, and he told me that he thought I should switch my major over into journalism. And it was a very hard decision to make, but I knew deep down that really what I wanted to do was go into journalism. After I graduated from Ferris, I had an internship. I ended up at a newspaper in a small northern Michigan town called Lake City. And that summer I had to do a tourist guide. I ended up doing a lot of the unusual stuff of the area. During my internship, one of the people that worked at the paper said, you know, we're getting such a good response from this guide that you wrote. You ought to write a book on this. And I took her advice and I did. And I never looked back.
Today we visit with Mystic, Michigan author Mark Jager of Cadillac about his guidebook series on weird and mysterious places in the Great Lakes State.
What originally happened with the Mystic, Michigan series is I got the first book out and I said to my wife at the time, wow, how many more odd things can there actually be in Michigan? Because we had one whole full book with all this odd stuff in it. I'd talk to different businesses about carrying the book and stuff. People would tell me about other unusual places. And after a while, I felt, wow, there's enough here for another book. So this just kept going until we had 7 books, and it's still going today. A number of years ago, I was in Cadillac one day, and there was a video production company there, and there was a man that worked at the company named Mark Boardman. And I just remember going in there one day because I thought, you know, video might go along quite well with the Mystic Michigan book series. More than 20 years later, all of a sudden one day I just got a message, and it was Mark Boardman, and he says, hey, remember when you talked to me, you know, a couple of decades ago, and you mentioned something about possibly doing some video? He says, I think I'm ready to do it. So we headed out and started doing it.
By peeling back the veil of the mitten to discover what lies within, as we together explore Mystic, Michigan.
After Mark Boardman and I had discussed not really taking any time out of his company to do this anymore, he suggested that I approach Ferris and see if they would like to do any more programs. They decided they wanted to go for it, and so we started our first rendition of it, and we ended up going all the way up to the Upper Peninsula, and a bunch of students were up there, and it was a tremendous endeavor by the students. I really do think that while I was in Ferris, it did change my mindset. I had been for many years up in northern Michigan, and pretty much getting into Ferris and meeting different types of people and learning different types of things I had never thought about before really did change my perspective on life.